Okay, so when we're talking about D&D and the easiest way to get into it, the first thing we need to cover is the essentials. What do you actually need to get started playing? Thankfully, because of the fact that Wizards of the Coast has made the rule set free, you don't actually need a whole lot. The first thing, of course, that you'll need is a copy of the rules. If you go on to dnd.wizards.com, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom under the Find section, you'll see a link that says Basic Rules. Click on that and it'll take you to a page where you can download a free PDF of the basic rules of D&D 5th edition. Alternatively, you could go to dndbeyond.com and you can access a copy of the basic rules there as well. And this copy includes even a little bit more than the PDF from the official website. Here everything's nicely organized into tabs so you can quickly find what you're looking for. If we click on the Monsters tab, for instance, it'll bring up a list of the monsters in the books that they have available. It'll show you which book it comes from underneath the monster's name so you can easily see if you have access to it or not. There's also a search function so you can easily find a specific monster. And there's even a filter option so you can find things that all come from one area or are all within a certain challenge rating. You can even sort by type of monster, such as undead or plant. Over here, there's a tab called the New Player Guide. This will bring you to a page with a quick and basic overview of how the game is designed to work. They also have a quick guide on creating a character, playing the game, and what to do once you've gotten all this stuff down and you want a little more. So I'd encourage you to read through some of this if you don't already have an idea of how D&D works. You could also download the D&D Beyond app and download the rules from there. That's what I would recommend doing because it makes it a lot easier if you're using it on a smartphone or tablet. I believe you can also get a copy of the rules on Roll20, so if you plan to use Roll20, maybe check there. I looked on the website and it looks like you can get it, but I haven't actually downloaded it from there myself. One other thing I'll mention is that you can get a physical copy of the basic rules if you buy the starter set. It retails for $20 US and comes with the rules, a basic set of dice, 5 pre-made character sheets, and an entire adventure module designed to take you from level 1 to 5. That's the campaign that my group is playing through currently, and we're having a great time with it. Once you've got a copy of the rules, the second thing you're going to need is someone to play with. If you already have friends that are interested in playing, then that's a huge bonus, and you're set. Really, you only need 2 people, one to DM and one to be a player. I would recommend trying to play with more than 2, but if you're trying to just get started, that might be a good place to start. Another way you could find people is on forums. D&D Beyond and Roll20 both have forums with players who play online, DMs looking for more players for their parties, etc. If you are good at making friends online, this could be a great avenue for you. I'm sure there's also probably like a subreddit for D&D, etc. Once you've got the rules and you have someone to play with, you're going to need dice. Now, if you don't want to pay for dice, you can actually get some free apps that simulate dice rolls, and some of the ones that I've found allow you to program the dice to be anything from a D2 to a D1000. One of the apps that I found is called Dice. It's a 3-dimensional dice rolling simulator, and it has all sorts of customization options. You can change the color of the dice, you can change how many sides each one has, etc., etc. There's all kinds of things you can do with this, and if you're someone that wants a physical representation of dice, this is a great app to check out. It's completely free. Another app that I found is called RPG Simple Dice. You just tap on the die you want to roll and it'll automatically generate a number. You can change the number of dice you're trying to roll. You can also add a modifier before you roll, which will be added automatically. So if you don't really like math, this might be a good option for you. Again, this one's not quite as pretty as the 3-dimensional one, but it is a little simpler to use. Another good thing is that it keeps track of the history of the dice you've rolled, so if you forget, you can just go back and check it. If you're like me and you want physical dice, I'd recommend checking online. I bought some sets on eBay for I think it was around $13, and I got 6 sets of 7 dice. 7 is kind of the basic number that you're going to need. I would recommend having a few extra D6s, maybe 2 D20s for advantage and disadvantage, but technically you only really need 1 set of 7. But for $13, why not pick up a few more? I've also found some links on Amazon and other people who create custom dice and they'll sell you a whole bunch of dice for pretty decent prices. And then I also found some really big bags of dice. They had like 20 sets of dice for, I want to say it was maybe $20, $30, something like that. So, depending on what you feel you need, shop around, but dice aren't too expensive. You're going to want a character sheet to help you keep track of your stats and abilities. If you go back to the official webpage and go to the Find section again, you'll see another link that says Character Sheets. Click on that link and you'll go to a page with a whole bunch of options. I'll get into this more during the character creation episode, but for now, just go ahead and click on the 5th edition Character Sheets link. This will download a bunch of PDFs in a zip file that you can print off. If you want to fill it in all by hand, print the one called the Character Sheet print version. If you'd rather fill it in before printing, click on the form fillable one and edit it to your liking before printing it. There's 2 other types of sheets you can print as well. One is the character details sheet, where you can put in stuff about what you look like and such, and the other is for your spells if you're a spellcaster. Both have blank templates and fillable templates, so print what you want. I definitely recommend printing the spellcasting sheet if you're a spellcaster. And the last thing you're going to need is pencil and paper. Technically, you could probably get away without playing with these, but they're basically essentials. If you want to be able to keep track of your things, what's been going on, NPCs' names, etc., it's a good idea to have pencil and paper so that you can make notes. And especially if you're a DM, you're going to need something to keep track of stuff. Now, with all that out of the way, so far you should have spent probably no more than around $15 if you're buying dice and picking up a notebook at the dollar store. But something else that I would recommend, especially again if you're a DM, is grid paper. Grid paper is going to be huge in helping you to kind of immerse yourself in the battles. It's so much easier if you can keep track of everything visually than trying to keep it all in your head. I was on Amazon and I found a book of grid paper for $7, I believe. It had 100 pages and each one had a nice grid printed on it. Generally, the standard for grid sizes in D&D is 1 inch by 1 inch, and that's the size this book came in, so it was perfect. Another thing you could do if you want to spend even less money is pick up a tube of wrapping paper. A lot of times wrapping paper comes with a 1 inch by 1 inch grid on the back of it now, and the one that I got at the dollar store for $1, $1.50, something like that, for Christmas had just that. If you're looking to spend a little more money for something a little better, there are some excellent reusable battle mats that you can find on Amazon, eBay, from the manufacturers, pretty much anywhere online that sells things. The one that my DM has is the Chessex battle mat, and you can use wet erase markers on it and wipe it off with just some paper towel with some water on it. It comes off super easily and it's really handy to have. If you are going to have grid paper, you also might want some tokens. This is so that you can keep track of monsters, the players' characters, and so on. This can be anything from just little pieces of paper cut out with a name on it to a fully painted 3D miniature. I'm going to do an episode on miniatures, going from 2D to 3D and everything in between, but for now, just know that you don't really need anything fancy. You can just cut up some scraps of paper and use those. A few other things that you could use. I have a pretty big Lego collection, so I was using some minifigures for our first player character minis. You could look around at different thrift stores. Maybe you'll find some army men or little figurines that you could use. You could even use chess pieces. They're all pretty distinct, so they will stand out from each other as long as you know what you're designating each one to be. So that's a pretty good option if you have a chess set. So far, if you want to go the absolute cheapest you can without even leaving the house, here's what you need: the rulebook PDF, friends, a dice app, pencil and paper, character sheets, paper tokens for your minis, a playing surface to put the minis on, or a grid for your minis. If you want some of the more premium options like physical dice, 2D printed minis, and a nice battle mat, here's a breakdown of the costs. You could get the starter set, friends, dice, pencil and paper, character sheets for your custom characters, since the starter set already has pre-made characters, and spellcasting sheets, 2D minis. There are plenty of artists who make 2D minis specifically for D&D, A lot of them have Patreons, and some others just have websites, or you can find them on Google. A reusable battle mat and markers. Okay, and that's it for this video. Once again, you don't need a whole lot to get started playing D&D. The main thing is you need someone to play with, so as long as you have that, you should be good to go. Thanks for watching.